Welcome back to Legacy Builders Live. I'm your host, Bryan Dulaney, and in today's episode, I'm going to talk about our $500 million plus formula for launching winning online campaigns and brands. Okay, so this is how I approach launching anything online. I'm going to break it down and help make sense of how we think about launching expert brands, launching really at the end of the day, any brands online. There's a formula that I've dialed in over the last 15 years of launching campaigns online, and I've perfected this process, and I never skip a phase before launching and scaling a brand online. Okay, so first things first, the very first step of our process. The very first step is what I call design. Okay, and I want to equate this to building a dream home, right? So the very first and most important step when you're building a dream home, right, is you're not going to go find your land, run down to Home Depot, and hire a bunch of orange aprons if you want to be successful in building your dream home, right? That's ludicrous, right? People at Home Depot barely know how to find things on shelves. But why do most people do this? This is how most people operate when it comes to launching and scaling campaigns online. They think that they can just go hire a bunch of the random people and it's going to turn out successful. There's less than 1% of the entire ClickFunnels community that has built $1 million plus funnel. Okay, why is that? Right, that number is horrendous. Right, number one, I think it's because they try to do it all themselves. Number two, they end up hiring people that aren't great at what they do, and they launch and they fail. And typically, people come to me after they've tried those two things. They've tried to do it all themselves because they said they've heard that it's easy and everybody can do it, right? And the second one is people come to me after they've tried to hire a bunch of people. They try to outsource the funnel process, the design process, the copywriting process, all of these different things, and nothing sticks. Okay? And then they end up at my table, right? But let's think about it. If you're going to build, launch, and scale a 7, 8, even a 9-figure brand, doesn't it make sense to have someone think about what are your funnels? What are your offers? What is your acquisition strategies, right? Beyond that, right? What's the narrative that you're putting out into the marketplace, right? I always say that it's important to think about the narratives that you're sending out, because if they don't get past the narrative, if they don't lean into the narrative that you're sending out into the marketplace, they're not even coming and seeing your offers or your funnels or anything else, right? So that's number one. Okay, what are the narratives that you're putting out into the marketplace? Then thinking through what are your offers, right? You typically are not going to have just one offer unless you have a high ticket offer, then you can get away with one offer. But typically the expert business typically has front end offers, lower ticket priced offers, and it has higher ticket priced offers, which are your back end offers. Okay. And then you have your funnels, right? What's the path that people take to join your database? What's the path that people take to give you money, right? There's a specific path, right? You can think of a funnel as a website. Really, that's all it is. It's just a simple process in which people join your database and a path that people take to give you money, okay? So what we do here is every single campaign, I don't care if it's a campaign for us or if it's a campaign for our clients and partners that we love and serve in our agency, perfectfunnelsystem.com, right? I always sit down for a day to map it out, okay? We sit down, we flesh the idea for a full day, undivided attention, no cell phones allowed, right? It's just undivided focus attention on that person's business or that campaign that we're launching for ourselves. We launch campaigns all the time. I'm literally working on one this morning when I woke up at 3 a.m. this morning and started cranking one out, right? But I sit down and I think about, okay, what is the way in which we're going to sell this offer, right? So we got to think about the offers. We got to think about the funnels. We got to think about the acquisition strategies. Are we going to use paid traffic? Are we going to use free traffic? Are we going to use affiliates, or are we going to use paid advertising, right? Or we're going to use a combination of both, right? Preferably, I'd like to use a combination of both. I don't like to use just one traffic source, so I like to use multiple traffic sources, right? So it's important in my mind, the reason why we've created, so many successful campaigns and have more awards than nearly anyone in the entire ClickFunnels community of over 100,000 entrepreneurs who use ClickFunnels to power their funnels is because I believe in this process, right? Step one is design, right? Think about it from the architectural process of building a dream home, right? If you want to build a dream home, you're going to buy the land, right? Then you're going to hopefully hire an architect to create the blueprint for the home. And then once the blueprint for the home is done, then you're going to go hire a general contractor, and the general contractor is going to have a team of people, and they're going to get to work building your home, right? A team of specialists, right? The same thing applies to this business. It's no different, right? So it's important to first think through what it is that you're going to launch before you start building it, versus building it and throwing them up against the wall and hoping something sticks. That's what 90% of people do, and that's why 90% or more are not successful, okay? And I want you to be successful. So that's the first step. And it's helpful, okay, if you're not an architect, if you've never done this before, it's helpful to sit down with someone like me or someone that's in my capacity that's done this over and over and over and over and over again, right? To think through it with you, right? Two minds is always better than one, right? Okay, so that's step number one. It's the design, it's the architectural roadmap and plan. And I always say that the most important thing in the design process is clarity. It's clarity about what you're selling. It's clarity about who you serve. It's clarity about what you sell, right? Those are the most important things about getting clarity. So you got to get clarity on your traffic sources, which is your acquisition strategy. You got to get clarity about your offer, which is your whatever it is that you're selling. You got to get clarity about your funnels, right? The path that people take to join your list or give you money in exchange for your offer, right? You got to think about that stuff, okay, before you launch it, okay, if you want to have success at a high level, okay? And then you also got to think about the perspective of one-to-many selling versus one-to-one selling, right? If you have a high-ticket offer, 10,000 up, okay, you're probably going to have some elements of one-to-one selling, right? You might have setters and closers, right? If you're doing one-to-many, you're selling low-ticket offers or offers that are under $5,000, then I would recommend you have one-to-many type of selling mechanism, which is like webinars and challenges and a free plus shipping funnel, these type of things, okay? So it's very important that you think about the strategy of what it is that you're building and launching before you just start hiring people to go and build it and launch it for you, okay? So that's the first step of the process, okay? First phase, design, okay? Remember that, design. Okay, number two is what we call build. Now, build, okay, in my world, that's typically a 30, 60, or 90-day process. It depends on the complexity of the build. I always say, you know, what are we building? Are we building a shed or are we building a dream home, right? If we're building a shed, it takes about 2 dudes over a weekend, right? If we're building a dream home, it's going to take a lot more than 2 dudes, and it's probably going to take a lot longer than a weekend, right? Okay, so after you understand what you are going to be building in the design phase, then in the build phase, okay, then it's going to be a 30, 60, 90-day process, okay? That's most common, even for campaigns that I build for myself, okay? And we have a team of 30 people at our disposal to jump on things, right? But it still takes time, right? It takes time for the video production. It takes time for the scripting. It takes time for the design. It takes time for the integrations. It takes time for the funnel development, right? It takes time. Now, I spend most of my time these days in the first phase of the process and the second phase of the process in the build phase, okay? I'm in all phases, but I spend a lot of my time here in these 2 phases. And in the second phase, I do what I call 3-day content workshops. I don't know about you, but I tend to get things done when I'm immersed in whatever it is that I'm doing, right? I always say that if Tony Robbins would have figured out a way to create transformation in others outside of 3 and 4 day immersive experiences where you're going from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., he probably would have done it by now, right? He's been doing it for more than 4 decades, okay? I have found the best way in the build process, whether you're building your one-to-many selling mechanisms, which is webinars and challenges and free plus shipping offers and all those things, or you're building your one-to-one, your high-ticket selling systems, the best way to get that done is in an immersive experience over the course of literally 3 days. I just did one last week. We spent 3 days and we sat down, we mapped out an entire challenge. We mapped out the offer that we're selling on that challenge. We then mapped out every day of that challenge. We then figured out the narratives and the scripts to go for social content, for ads, okay, for the emails, for the retargeting campaigns. Everything done in 3 days. And I mean, it just feels great to be able to get something done, to get that much stuff accomplished in 3 days. And I have my brain there with them, guiding them through that process. Okay. And that's my process. That's how we do it here at Perfect Funnel System. And so that's the second phase of the process, the build process. Now, we also have a team of about 30 people that are experts in the world of what they do. That's one thing that I did differently than a lot do. And that was, I wanted to find a team of the best in the world at what they do and only allow them to do that thing that they're the best in the world at, not become the jack of all trades. Because I found that the jack of all trades is typically the master of none, right? I'm sure you've experienced that yourself. So we have the copywriters, we have the branding and the designers, we have the video production crew, we have the technical specialists, the funnel builders, right? All of the different pieces of the puzzle that you need to bring this thing together to be able to launch it successfully, right? And again, that process is typically a 30, 60, or 90-day process, okay? So that's phase two. That's the build process, okay? Then we move into phase three. Phase three is what I call launch and scale. And why is it launch and scale? Well, it's time to turn everything on, right? The ads are live, the funnels are live, the offers are selling, okay? That's what it means to be live. That's what it means to be in phase three. Now, for us, we like to have skin in the game with our clients and our partners who we serve. So we typically get anywhere from 5 to 20% of the profits after the costs and after the ad spend and after some of those type of things. And we have what I call skin in the game. And I've found that most of our partners love that we have skin in the game because then we're driving the ship versus just sitting back and showing up for fee for service, right? I never wanted to build an agency where we had people that show up like an employee, check in and check out, right? You don't find that you're not gonna find that you're gonna be able to get the best brains on your business and brand when you hire employees or people that are just simply fee for service. I haven't found it. It's tough. So I incentivize my team in the profit, right? That's how you get good people, right? You're not gonna hire the best and the best of the world by just paying us a fee, right? Unless you want to pay an astronomical fee, then it might work. But I still have found that when you're looking to have a team of people that are the best at what they do, they're experts in their craft, right? Yeah, they're going to have a fee. But beyond that, they like to be driven by performance. And that's who you want at the table, right? At the end of the day, even for my business, I want people that are performing, right, on a day-to-day basis. If something goes sideways on a Saturday, right? Are they off or can they jump on and fix the problem? We had a big launch, spent $100,000 in 10 days, and something went sideways on a Saturday. Tracking links broke. Well, because my team is performance-based, they jumped on it, fixed it in like 30 minutes. We're back in the game, right? You're not going to typically find that with most agencies. The other thing is what this phase three is, the very first thing that happens is there's a technical setup process with all the analytics and the tracking and all the things that need to be set up. Then you got the retargeting campaigns. Then you got the actual copy and the images and the videos and all the stuff to actually launch an ad campaign successfully. Then I typically recommend there's warming campaigns, which are called engagement campaigns, right? So that's the next component to launching a successful brand. You got to warm up an audience before you just push them to a registration ad or a purchase, conversion ad, right? You don't want to just send cold traffic to that type of stuff. You want to warm up your audience properly. And then comes the conversion ads after you've already warmed up your audience, okay? So that's our process. We design, right? We create the plan for getting to 7 to 8 figures as a business and a brand. Then we build it. We build it right with people that are competent and that are great at what they do. And then we launch it. And then it's like a constant process of optimization. We have to embrace the philosophy, which is a driver in our ecosystem, which is Kaizen, right? Constant improvement, right? That's how you should approach your business, right? Constantly improving and adjusting. There's never a dull moment. There's always something to adjust. There's always something to optimize. There's always something to improve. And so, uh, regardless of whether you are hiring other people or not, or if you're doing in-house, or if you're hiring a team like ours, right? You got to have people that are on the ball, right? They're on the 8 ball, as they say, right? Super, super, super important. All right, so let's jump on over. I have my friend Brad with us, and I'm super excited. Brad Hart is with us today, and so we're gonna bring Brad in and let him share some of the things that are working right now in his world and help him crush it online, and share some fun stuff. So let's dive over. We'll dive over there in a second. Commercial. He's here, but he's not. Commercial. Business sits on a goldmine of customer potential, but are you using broken equipment that leaves most of the gold in the ground? Or maybe you're just 3 feet from gold. Look, after generating over $500 million online, I've discovered most businesses extract only a fraction of the revenue that's available to them. Every Monday at noon Eastern on Legacy Builders Live, I dive deep into entrepreneurs' gold mine. During our hot seat segment, applying my brain, their funnels, their offers, and their campaigns to extract every ounce of hidden revenue potential. You want me to reveal the untapped gold in your business live? I'll show you exactly where the gold is left behind, how to capture it all. Go to funnelinspection.com to apply for free. Plus, every VIP hot seat helps remove 20 pounds of plastics from our oceans, and private sessions with me remove 100 pounds through our partnership with 4Oceans. What's up, Brad?
Hey, Brian, how we doing?
Doing great, man. Good to see
Good.
your
Thanks so much
face.
for having me on, man. Is there a little bit of a delay?
No, you're good.
Okay, no worries. Yeah, how you been? Everything good?
Doing great, man. Let's jump in. We're
All
live,
right,
brother.
let's roll.
Yeah.
Oh, we're live. Hi, everybody. I figured there'd be a little waiting room or something.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm grateful to be here.
Yeah, man. Awesome to have you with us. It's been a minute since we last connected. Um, so tell me, I always like to start off with like what's crushing it for you right now? Like what's working like gangbusters that you're just fired up about?
Well, I actually have a big thank you to start with because I talked to you years ago when I still lived in Cardiff. I don't know if you remember, but
Mhm.
I was kind of going through the idea of like, okay, I'm going to hire somebody. I'm going to figure out my books. I'm going to figure out my funnels. And I came across what you did with Jeremy Miner and it inspired me to launch our own book funnel
Mhm.
for the 8 Minute Mastermind book, which I have a copy of over here.
Nice.
Um, and we ended up selling 12,000 of these self-published, a few
Love
through
that.
Amazon, mostly pushing through ours. And on the back of that, we did a little over 2 million in revenue. It might be about 2.2, 2.3 million. I don't have the exact number in front of me.
Nice.
Through events, which you also inspired me to do, and through one-on-one sales calls. So that was really exciting. Now we have a new book called The $1 Million Masterminds coming out pretty quick here. We're doing all of it. And by the way, AI made it so much easier. You know how much it used to take to build a funnel, 50 hours, big team, 5 figures of work. We were able to get through that, at least all the copy in like 3, 4 hours with AI. So that was really fun.
That's
And
awesome.
we're gonna have that live very soon. And I was waiting for the book to be, edited and published. I actually wrote another book called The AI Playbook while I was waiting. So now I'm up to 5 books, and a lot of it is because of your inspiration. So thank you. That's the first thing.
That's awesome, man. Well, something you probably don't know. I don't know if I've ever told you, but it was the call that you and I had. There was that private call from because Jess had introduced you to me somehow, some way, shape, or form.
Shout out to Jessica Shenan. Yep.
Yep. And we talked, and you had said that you were going to be promoting Tony Robbins in the Dean Graziosi launch. And I had just gotten my welcome box in the mail from those guys. And after that call, that was like a pivotal moment where I said, you know what, I'm going to do that too.
Yeah, and not only did you do it, you partnered up with Nick, and you guys, I think you hit number 5 out of 5,000 affiliates both times. Was it something like that?
Yep,
That's
that's
amazing. Yeah,
right.
we ended up coming in 8, and it was really cool because we all got to go to, it was supposed to be Fiji, but we ended up going to Florida and hanging out with Tony at a hotel near his home and
Right.
spending time with these guys and getting coached. And it was just a beautiful experience. So thank you again for the inspiration on that.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. So, so yeah. So tell me. So thank you for that. That's awesome to hear you that all those numbers and what you've done.
Book
But
funnels. That's the thing.
right,
That's what works.
right, it works. um, so tell me, what do what are you most excited about right now? Right, we're June 2025. Right. What
Yeah,
are you
baby.
most excited about right now? And like, and a separate question from that is like, what's working in your world that's really crushing it?
Yeah, so on the business front, we have three offers and a side hustle that are just destroying it right now. So we have the Legacy Build a Mastermind program. We also have Optimus, which teaches SMBs how to basically compete on a level playing field with Fortune 500 using AI and automations. So that's really working well. We've had 25 members join in 6 months. That's been great. Then we have OmniSocial, which actually spun out of that, which is a social media basically managed service where we put you on every single social, every single day, every single format, video, audio, all that great stuff. And then we also have this incredible partnership with Go High Level where we moved over 1% of all their accounts as an affiliate because one of my guys, JJ, is one of the original developers. So it's a really cool thing. So it's like so much opportunity right now. And it's been challenging as a leader to be able to stay focused and continue to go. Like I'm working 7 days a week right now, just not because I have to, it's because we have so much opportunity. I'm trying to stand up the infrastructure so that the sales guys can step in and the marketing team can step in and like really get it right. So I can hand it off at least 80, 90% of the way done and proven and tested so that we can build that team that can go from, 100K a month to 500K a month to a million a month to, all the different levels that you cap out if you have a small team. So we were very fortunate and blessed with all the AI changes and all the ways we streamlined our business to go from a 12-person team down to a 3-person team and increase our revenue to a 7-figure run rate while
Nice.
increasing our profits drastically. So that was like phase one was like, let's get this thing really dialed in. And now we're scaling again with the right team, the right A players with batteries included. I'm hiring Evan Larkin, who I've been wanting to hire for years, and I'm really excited about that. He's a great guy who's good at scale up, and I'm more good at startup. So it's like a good
Nice.
partnership there. And we're just building all these AI tools, 17, 18 AI tools now we've built out of the 31 we've identified. That's culminating this, what we call the operating system for small business, the OS, right? The log into your Mac, you see your calendar, you see your messages, you see all these different tools, these apps. I want to make that, but for small business, where you can log in, you can see your business at the top level, and then you can interact with it like Jarvis, right? Like
Right.
Iron Man, like, hey, here's the problems, here's the KPIs, here's what we're going to do to solve it. Either take me there so I can do it, or eventually, hey, just go do that. You
Yeah.
know?
Nice. That's awesome, man. Yeah. And live events, you're just doing how many of those are you doing now a year now?
So we did 4 over 14 months with Jay, Jay Facette. Shout out to him. We did a little over 1 million revenue. We served hundreds of clients through that. That was really fun. And I think I learned the model. And then Jay went off to do more work with psychedelics and coaching couples. And I'm going to double down on not just the mastermind model, but now this mastermind as incubator. It's not a masturbator. Get your head out of the gutter. I don't have a good name for it. But it's like using the mastermind as the incubator for these tools and services that eventually become companies on their own. So it's like,
Yeah.
what the distinction I had, I think is really important is like, okay, I've been doing this a long time now. I've been doing this 15 years. I spent $1 million on my personal education. I've made millions in this because of amazing mentors such as yourself, right? And I want to give back, but I'm also like at a stage in my life where I want to have a family and I want to do less work overall.
Yeah.
So, my thought is how do I shift gears to get more leverage and more scale, but also maintain the level of quality, which, is really important to me. And I realized like, oh, I really care about relationships, but I can only really care about 100 to 150 relationships. Like really, at the end of the day, that's my capacity at the max. So if I want to scale and maintain that quality past that 150 mark, I have to start thinking about bringing on leaders who also care about relationships, who can manage that aspect of the business. And then we can scale to thousands together. So it's like bringing on those people that understand the things I don't, that can care about and pay attention to the relationships I can't, that can have the direct reports that I can't, because I'm just one guy. So it's getting out of my own way is the real goal here. So we can go to become an 8-figure organization, but also create billion-dollar opportunities through the tools that we're building, which can really
Nice.
scale.
So did I hear there's a baby on the way?
Not quite. Well, we're planning this year. Yeah, that's
Nice.
important. We've already got the baby moon planned for the 6 month
Nice.
mark. So there's quite a bit of timing going on, and I feel good about it. Like everybody's like, oh, I'm worried, or I don't know if I'm going to be able to have kids the first shot out. I think we're gonna be great, and I'm putting that out into the universe that there's not going
Nice.
to be any issues that come up.
It's
So
the
yeah,
best, man. There's nothing like it.
can't wait.
Your
I'm
world,
excited.
your
I
world will
want to be a dad
change in a
forever.
positive way.
Yeah, and I'm coming up on 40. Now's a great time to go, and
Yeah.
I'm as good as I've ever been. I'm as young as I'll ever be. So why not now?
Hey, you're a lot younger than Tony Robbins. He just had a baby a couple years ago.
Oh, good for them. That's beautiful. I didn't even
Yeah,
realize that. Baby, that's amazing. Good for them.
yeah, yeah. He's like, what he was like 65, I think, or 66 when he had his
Huh.
last his daughter. Yeah,
Where there's a will, there's a way.
that's right. Cool. So tell me, Brad, on the AI front, love
Mhm.
AI too, as well. We use it a lot. Um, what in which ways? Maybe just a couple ways because you're using it in a lot of different ways. But like, what ways are you using it the most effectively? Like,
Mhm.
obviously, you went from 12 to 3, right? People on the team, so that's huge. But yeah, tell me some of the ways, or tell us some of the ways that you're using AI right now that's really helping you.
Yeah, and it's kind of category wise, right? So I have this framework called Oslo, which is offers, sales, leads, operations. Just the four things you got to really focus on in order to get a business stood up,
Hmm.
and then you go back, and when things grow on one side, you got to go back and shore it up on the other side. So just on the offer side, for example, been able to create these incredible new tools for business owners that we couldn't really create before. Like we're essentially doing the work of multiple SaaS companies
Hmm.
within a mastermind organization. So that's like one thing. We're entertaining and encouraging our clients to do the same thing, which is like make it as easy as possible for your clients, remove as much friction in your workflow as possible, and give them the answers as quickly as possible. Like you don't have to go and absorb 200 hours of content, although I'm sure it'd be worthwhile. It's like, no, here's a bot that you can get the script or the offer or the pitch, whatever it is that you need in seconds. So we just strung together 4 pickaxes, for example, which are trained on offers, market research, sales, pitching, and like every one pickaxe needs to be small enough to do a job well, but
Hmm.
also impactful enough to get a great answer. And now you can string them together. And what used to take, wasn't a big deal, like 15, 20 minutes. Now in one move, you can basically say, hey, I have this idea for a mastermind. Now it's here's your offer. Here's how to exactly pitch it, how to do market research. Here's all your sales language. Everything is custom to that offer. And now the difference between a person who's just trying and whacking their head against the wall, what do I do next? Well, now you have your next 10 steps laid out for you. So you can just go and do it. And you can get
Nice,
clients and you can figure that out. You can, more importantly, not waste time on an idea that didn't actually have the traction that you hoped it was going to. Right.
nice.
And that's the biggest demoralizer for entrepreneurs that I found is like you spend 6 months and a bunch of money on an idea that just doesn't quite pan out. I want to have that answer in a week or two. Like, let's just slow down. Let's speed up those cycles so I can bring more
Right.
offers to market and then I can work on the next piece. So like that's one. On the sales front, we're building a really fun thing called the Sales Whisperer, which plugs into Zoom and it essentially transcribes in real time, which Zoom is starting to do too. But it also gives you sales insights in real time.
Hmm.
So it's going to tell you when you're talking too much. It's going to tell you when you're not answering the right questions, or if you've overlooked something, or if you need to go deeper on something, or if you need to make a custom pitch, or specifically use the language that's been given during the thing. And then it basically gives you the report afterwards, how to improve. That can be given to
Nice.
your manager or to whoever. Like so, that could be a multiple billion-dollar thing because if I go to Nike with that and I can move the needle for them for 5%, that's $1 billion in revenue, right?
Yep.
So that's one. And then
Nice.
I would say on the leads front's really interesting because it's like we're moving from an era of you have a big list, mass messaging to mass customization of messaging.
Right.
And not just that, it's like we want omni-channel inputs. And what I look at is like choose your own adventure. You want to fill out a form? Cool, you can still fill out a form, but maybe you want to talk to an AI bot, or maybe you want to have a chat, or maybe you want to actually talk to a person. No matter how you decide to give us your information, we want to have that standardized into a single source of truth,
Hmm.
which then allows us to customize all the messages and sort you into buckets and give you the message you need at this time. Because maybe 5% of people are ready to buy right now. And that's awesome. We send those to the sales team. But like 25% of people, they might buy in the future. But if we hammer them with the sales message and really get aggressive right now, we might burn that opportunity. What they really need is more nurturing in the middle of the funnel. So we
Right.
need the intelligent layer to be like, okay, send them these types of messages, more value, build more trust, and then they'll be ready later when they get warm. And then there's 70% of people that are just never going to buy. They're not qualified. They're not
Right.
interested. And for those people, you might want to refer them out or you might want to do an affiliate
Hmm.
promotion, but you're not going to do an affiliate promotion of your best leads. And you're not going to give, the hard sell to a lead that wasn't really interested or qualified in the first place. So
Yeah.
it's like, that's, I think, the next piece there. And then just operationally, there's so many things that humans are doing, but they should be human beings versus human doings.
Hmm.
So it's taking that off their plate and standardizing and streamlining all these SOPs. And what I love to do is work with these business owners. I've been in this business 5, 10 years. I know exactly how to do it, but I don't know what the next step is because the starting gun has been fired, Brian. And I want everybody to hear this. If you are not implementing AI in 2025, by 2030, you will be out of business because not only AI, but robots are coming right behind you, right?
True.
So you have the opportunity right now to take what you've learned painstakingly, gruelingly over the last 5, 10 years and just turn it into an AI, turn it into a robot that can now do that job. I mean, I'll just give a really futuristic example. My brother-in-law just sold a decking company in Richmond, Virginia, where he builds $30,000 custom wooden boxes in people's backyards. They're just decks, right? They're nothing fancy.
Right.
A robot can do that. Not yet, but it will be able to. And if you could train one robot to do it, that means 1,000 robots can do it.
Yep.
So that's the type of leverage and exponential crazy scale we're going to see that quickly. Is like the first person to get there is going to have this crazy advantage, just like Amazon. You can't rebuild Amazon and compete with Amazon. They have this crazy advantage. It's their race to lose. We're going to see that across every industry with AI and robotics. So I want to be ahead of that and creating that for the small business owners right now that, you know, they can innovate and they're not stuck in, oh, I have to keep this big cruise ship moving in a straight line, because it's just not gonna come from the top. It's gonna come from the bottom.
For sure. Now, and I agree wholeheartedly on that. Where are some of the sources of up-to-date information on AI and on robotics? Sounds like you're into both. Are you getting that information from? So, like events, are you going to events? Do you hire consultants? Like for you, what's that look like?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I actually am on a low information diet. And this is something I learned from a mentor, Tim Ferriss, where it's like I am super hyper focused and down the rabbit hole on the things I'm down the rabbit hole on. So as such, I try not to just have my social channels open to where I'm absorbing a ton of information and a lot of noise. So like I read industry publications, I read stuff by like Peter Diamandis and Stephen Kotler and some of the bigger names in that space that are kind of seeing where the puck is going, and then who they look at and recommend. Those are the people I kind of put on my list.
Yeah.
And then I choose which podcast I listen to about a particular topic. So like I really went down the rabbit hole recently on quantum energy generation, which if you haven't heard about this, it's freaking wild, right? So, you know, typical battery and electricity generation is one thing, but I think the future is actually utilizing the principles of the known universe and the unknown universe. We're still learning the physics here to harvest the quantum quark movement that's already happening, right? So they have these little chips now that can harvest quantum energy that is limitless. It's from the vacuum. It could be under the ocean. It could be essentially, it permeates the universe in every possible format. And it can take these little gyrations of quarks and harvest that energy. And it doesn't require battery storage. It just does it. And it doesn't deplete. It's everywhere all the time. So you take that, which right now they can harvest like microwatts, which is enough to power maybe like a tire pressure gauge or some sort of sensor, to you apply Moore's law to it. In 20 years, with things getting better, faster, cheaper, you'll be able to power a robot, a humanoid robot with that. So you're talking about limitless production capability, limitless electrons, limitless possibilities for creating work energy in the world, and just being essentially fueled. It never has to recharge.
Yeah, I know they're already talking about that for like phones. Like you shouldn't have to plug it into the wall, right?
Yeah.
Electric for your house. You know, there's things that, you know, they're beginning to talk about it, like soft disclosure. We're at the soft disclosure phase, but I can't wait. It's like an exciting time to be alive, that's for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll watch every documentary I can get my hands on. You know, just really highly curated pieces of information.
Yeah.
And
So you're going. My
limit
takeaway
noise.
from that is you're going deep on specific topics, and then you're going to the highest source of knowledge and wisdom on the topic, and then beyond that, like you might go Peter Diamandis, and then it's like, okay, well, who's influencing Peter Diamandis? And then you're
Right.
going
Yeah.
deep
Who's he
down
talking
that.
to on a regular basis? Yeah. Or I'll see somebody on a podcast and I'll go deep really on
Yeah.
their stuff. You know, like
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
guy,
Yeah.
Sonny, I forget his last name now, but he's on Joe Rogan recently talking about the quantum chips. I'm like, okay, I would
Yeah.
read everything that guy's published, because people don't realize this, but I was actually a biologist by training. You know, and I used to read research papers all the time, which now with GPT is a lot easier to be like, okay, find me on PubMed 5 research papers about this topic, distill them, and give me the general state of affairs, and then you can make a decision based on that. Is this a year out or 20 years out, right?
For sure. Yeah, super smart. I mean, that's the way you master anything, is go deep, right?
Yeah, well, and GPT is a great partner for that. Like I can have a conversation about how to sort out the weeds in my backyard, and then immediately switch focus to, okay, we're going to talk about the potential gravity wells that UAPs create so that they can have these crazy acceleration fluctuations and go, between water and air in 1 second. It's like no splash, it's like stuff like that we can't do it yet, but we can theoretically think about what could be possible, which will open up our brains to thinking, exponentially and geometrically versus linearly and locally, which is hard to do as a human because that's all we've done for thousands of years.
Yeah, for sure. So when's the new book come out?
So we have two new books on the docket. One is called $1 Million Masterminds. That will be at milliondollarmasterminds.com, although it's not quite up yet. And then literally I just got the link for the AI Business Playbook, which is a free ebook that I put out, which is all my tools, all my prompts, all the cool stuff that will just get your AI trained, like a relationship, so that you can actually get the outputs that you want in one shot. And that's at businessaikit.com. That's businessaikit.com.
Nice.
That's free to go grab right now. I literally just got the page from my team this morning. So very excited about that.
Good timing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good timing. Cool,
but
man.
like, hey, you got to start somewhere. I think the biggest challenge that people have is they think AI is this big complex thing. It's like these tools are meant to make it easier, and you start somewhere, chip away at it.
That's it. I mean, it's how we do anything, right? You learn a little bit, you learn a little bit more, learn a little bit more. Before you know it, you're a master at it.
And hopefully you're excited about doing it like I am and like you are. So
yeah, it's super exciting. I mean, the stuff that I used to do without it, I don't even know how I did it. like how did I even get that done?
Well, and I want to make one more distinction is like, you still have to know what great looks like. Garbage in is garbage out. So if you are great, if you have discernment and you have experience and you know what great looks like, you can get there so much faster. If you're just going to use it and be like, oh, that's good enough, and dump it out on the internet, garbage in is garbage out.
That's not good. Yeah. What I found, at least me personally, is like I typically will set up the brain. I call it the brain. And once the brain's properly programmed for the task or tasks, then it's a matter of back and forth prompting, right? To get it to create the output I want, right? So it does take understanding the outcome or objective that I'm looking for first, right? And I have all that from past experience, obviously. But man, it does sure speed things up.
Yeah. So I make a prediction that AI won't replace entrepreneurs, but entrepreneurs who use AI will 100% replace entrepreneurs that don't.
Yeah. Now, what's your take on the flip side of that, the differentiation? AI is going to replace a lot of jobs, but there will be, specifically as it relates to offers in our ecosystem, what do you think the differentiation is going to be in the marketplace?
Yeah, well, I think choose your own adventure will become the norm. Meaning, I can't just sell you a book. I got to give you a PDF, which you can then go put in your AI. I got to give you a pickaxe GPT that's already got it set up so that you can ask it questions and prompt it and have additional insights. I got to give you very specific worksheets, but also the bots to go along with them. I got to give you the audio version. I got to give you the video version, the course version. Like, I don't have to create all that, but I have to make it available so that people can choose their own adventure and interact with us and learn from us in the way that is we're at. And by the way, I want to make a distinction here. Nobody's in competition with each other. I think this is really important. I'm the Make More Marbles guy, and everybody's like, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to compete. It's like, $7.2 trillion is spent every year on education.
Yeah.
K through 12 university. Our little bucket here is like $1 billion a day, which is $350 billion a year, which is a lot, but it's 5% of the total. So like, we're not in competition with each other. We're in competition.
It's a very good perspective to remind everyone of, for sure.
There's so much money out there, guys. And so many people need help because they're all still in this old world muggle mindset. We got to be wizards and show them the way to
That's
Hogwarts.
True. That's true. And people typically go to fear-based, scarcity mindset because our system is designed that way, from media to the whole thing, right? So, but you're right. There's more than enough. There's never a lack. And
not even close. Yeah.
Not even close.
The only person you're really in competition with is you yesterday.
Right. It's yourself. Getting yourself out of, like you said earlier, right? You're like, biggest thing is getting out of my own way.
Yeah. That's it, man. And that's been my biggest, and it happens at every level. New level, new devil.
Every level. Yep. New level, new devil. Well, awesome, Brad. Well, where can people follow you, get more information? You got great tools and tips. So
Yeah, so our two main offers are at buildamastermind.com. So that's our traditional offer. We've had hundreds and hundreds of people go through that. Our newest initiative is Optimus, which is helping the AI, helping people to transition from just traditional business to AI powered business,
Right.
robotics business, and that's at buildwithoptimus.com. And then finally, like I said, I have this brand new book off the shelf. I've never given it away yet. It's yours first if you want it. It's at businessaikit.com. You can go check that out. It's an ebook, like 42 pages, but it comes with all my 90 pages of prompts and all the tools we're using and all that great stuff is downloads as well.
That's awesome. Yeah, thanks for that. That's great.
My
Great tip.
pleasure. Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool, Brad. Well, great to see you, man. We got to catch up again.
Yes,
Off the
sir.
call.
Thank you, Brian. I appreciate it. And
All
thank
right,
you,
brother.
everybody, for listening. I hope you get a lot of value out of this conversation. All right. Take care.
Cheers. Commercial. Biggest breakthrough in my business came when I realized a simple truth. I didn't get my second degree black belt in Taekwondo by watching videos online by myself. That's ridiculous, isn't it? You see, I had a sensei challenging me 3 times a week, pushing me beyond what I thought was possible. Doesn't your business deserve the same level of expert mentorship? The entrepreneurs who truly excel aren't going at it alone, my friend. They have mentors who can see their blind spots, refine their techniques, and hold them accountable. Look, I've helped businesses generate over $500 million online. Go to bryandulaney.com to learn how my mentorship can transform your business to help you go from where you are to where you really want to be. All right. I hope you got massive value from Brad. Super smart when it comes to masterminds and also AI now. So check out, download those resources, get access to those things, especially since they're free, right? Free, everyone loves free. So hope you got some value from that. And he's right. AI is accelerating the process. I mean, shoot, like I said earlier in the show, just last week alone, I was working with a client. Over the course of 3 days, we literally mapped out an entire challenge, the offer to go with the challenge. We scripted out all the videos for the promotion of the challenge, the promotion of the offer. We mapped out all the email sequences. We mapped all the video scripts. Shoot, the guy's got this specific client has over 11 different offers in his business, and he doesn't even have a sales funnel for any of them, although he's grown a $5 million a year business by basically word of mouth. So we, through the power of AI, now again, it's important to note that we're not out of the box using AI, right? It's like super important. People that are using out of the box AI, you're not going to get the result that you're looking for. So I program the brain, I call it the AI brain, in a closed environment. And I have the IP of the expert, my IP and other IP that's baked into this brain. And then we create from that place. We create from those frameworks in that place. That's how we get the output that we're looking for. And literally we got like over 50 videos fully scripted with the right narrative, the right hooks, the right stories, the right offer, like the call to actions, right? All in the matter of a couple of days. So AI is powerful. Definitely dive into it, right? Don't be intimidated by it or fear it. And like Brad said, right? You learn a little bit, play around with it, learn a little bit more, play around with it deeper. Don't get left behind here on this opportunity because AI is just really scratching the surface. It's like being able to, I always equate it to like Bitcoin at 50 cents, right? It's like kind of where we're at with AI. So if you look at it through that perspective versus the perspective of AI is like, it's like 100,000 a coin, right? From a Bitcoin perspective, you might not get involved because you feel like you've missed out. I can tell you right now, you haven't missed out. You're in the early stages of an opportunity to really set yourself up for generations to come if you use it and deploy it properly. So again, I hope you found this value. My $500 million process, AI has certainly streamlined and made that process a lot more effective, a lot faster. I don't even know how I got done what I did before in the time that I do now. But typically what I would do, in a build process, I would do like 2 to 3 content workshops. Now with AI, I only need to do 1 because I'm able to get a lot more done, right? So I hope that makes sense. If you need any help or assistance on your journey, head on over to perfectfunnelsystem.com, apply, schedule a call with our team, and learn about how we can help serve you to take your business, your brand, your expertise to the next level and make a greater income and a greater impact in the lives that you're called to serve. All right, see you again next week. What if everything you've been taught about business success is backwards? What if the secret isn't what you do or how you do it? I was at an event with Russell Brunson and he told a crowd of 5,000 people something that changed everything for me. It's not about what or how, but who's in your corner helping you. He said, I didn't build a $120 million a year company, but I'm trying to do it all myself. I have a great team who helps me. That's when it clicked. The most successful entrepreneurs don't just have the right strategies or tactics. They have the right people in their corner and on their team. You see, after building over 1,650 funnels, generating over $500 million online, I've become that who for thousands of business owners. Who's in your corner? Visit bryandulaney.com and let me help you build the business that you've always envisioned. Because the right who changes everything.